You're listening to The Lowdown Show.
The house that AJ Styles built.
Your Raw and Smackdown live review and discussion show.
Drink it in, man.
Right here on the No Holds Barred Network.
That's right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all my corporate sellouts out there. Welcome to episode 4 of the newly revamped Lowdown Show, your Raw Smackdown live review and discussion show, right here on the No Holds Barred Network, your source for all WWE, NXT, and UK wrestling coverage. You can listen to us live every Thursday. We're back live this week on Spreaker. You can download the free app on all Android and Apple devices. We're also available on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud. So you can check us out wherever it's convenient for you to listen to us. For all network updates, follow us on Twitter at NHB Network. As well, follow the show on Twitter at The Lowdown Show. And as always, I am your host, the blissful boss. Well, not very blissful tonight. Mr. Corporate himself, Corporate Cappy, at Cappy Collects on Twitter. And I'm only joined by my one co-host this week. Unfortunately, Bryan at Heel Turn 21, the main roster Maharaja, could not join us tonight. So it's just going to be myself and the one and only natural-born heel, Cornette Jr., Mr. Tyler Jones, at TylerJones_22.
Oh, man, well, I got rid of one of you two. Things are looking up.
Wow. So, that was pretty easy.
Yeah, didn't take long. Well,
basically not.
2.5 weeks, 3.5 weeks. 3.5 shows, I guess.
Right. Well, this week in wrestling, I don't really know what to say,
There was
guys.
wrestling this week?
Let's just say, all I can say is there was a show.
Yeah, there was forms of wrestling on television, I suppose.
I guess that's
yeah.
That's basically all you could say about it. So how the show's gonna work today, guys, is we're gonna just go into a quick Raw and Smackdown discussion about this week. I'm not gonna go over a lot.
Lord knows we don't want to fucking talk about it very long.
Exactly. And then we're gonna get into Tyler's favorite part of the show this week in wrestling history, where he will, sit down in the classroom and have a little nice discussion with you guys.
Drop some nuggets, a nice nugget of knowledge on you guys.
On all you nerds.
Nerds!
And then we'll get into the list of 10. And then we'll end off, we got some fan tweets this week, and then we'll do a quick Super Showdown, I guess, predictions, but not really.
Not really. Because I'm just going to be real with you, don't give a shit. Other than that Taker match, don't give a shit.
I mean, we have to talk about it.
Well, of course, but I know. But I mean, I'm saying, I'm excited for 3 matches out of that whole card. Literally.
Yep. Shout out to your boy at Trey Patterson on Twitter in the chat. Hopefully y'all's show goes better than the Braves game today. Well, I hope so.
Oh, Trey listening live. Nice.
Yeah, well, it's okay, Trey. I went through a terrible night tonight of hockey, so.
Yeah, well, 1 of 82 against 1 versus 5.
If you paid $120 for your ticket, you'd be pissed.
That's why I don't pay $120 for tickets.
Anyways, something else I wouldn't pay for would definitely be attending a Monday Night Raw live, because that's a waste of money. It's not like they're going to see anything of importance on that show. So I guess we'll jump right into Raw this week. I mean, this show is becoming more unwatchable by the week. And, we made the purpose of us doing this Lowdown show was for us to come on here and point out, some of the good things and the bad things that are going on Raw. But, it's really hard for us to talk anything positive about this show right now.
Well, especially Raw.
No, I'm talking about Raw itself. Not
Yeah,
SmackDown.
right.
SmackDown's
I
actually
mean,
been making steps to. They've been doing some good things
yeah,
week after week.
let's not go too far.
Well,
Um,
when you compare it to Raw, it looks
we'll
like
talk
a
about
great
that
show.
later. No, I mean, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, there's nothing really that good that's going on Raw that gives me any need to want to sit down and watch 3 hours of that shit.
Yeah, it's painful to sit down for 3 hours and watch it. Like, I don't think either of us lasted through the whole show this week.
No.
Anybody with half a brain would realize.
I mean, and you know what? It's not even just us. It's everybody. Everybody thinks that ratings don't lie. So.
Yep. Another low rating for Raw this week, which can you blame anybody?
World lowest record or whatever for them. So
is there anything you want to talk about on Raw that sticks out to you, good or bad, that you want to just get out of the way?
I'll be real with you. I don't 100% remember everything about Raw. I mean, like, you know, some of the shit was okay. The Dean promo at first was good.
But I just don't know where that's going. Like,
well, duh. They should. We don't know where it's going because it should have went somewhere a month ago, and now we're down this fucking middle of this dark road with all these fucking trees around us. It's all dark. We don't know where anything is, and we're just walking. I mean, where else are we gonna go? We're gonna stop here.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
There's a fan tweet that we'll read later that asks us what we think is gonna happen. That's super. If somebody's gonna turn in that, but it's just like
I don't know what's gonna happen.
At this point, it's like what?
But it's not a, you know, because, like, you know me, sometimes I'm like, if I don't know what's going to happen, that's a good thing. This is one of those things where I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not a fucking good thing.
Because they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what the fuck's going on. Because they missed the boat so many times on this thing.
Yeah, it's apparent even just you could just look at the way they're booking right now and just, you could, I mean, if you have half a brain and know wrestling, you can see, they don't know. They have no clue. They're throwing shit out there hoping that it'll stick to try to hop some ratings boosts. And obviously it ain't working. You know why? Because there's no fucking storylines on Raw. And if there is, they all suck. And have no basis to them whatsoever. Okay?
No believability whatsoever.
Okay. We were talking about it a little bit before the show. Bobby Roode's on Raw, right?
Oh, do we have to talk about Bobby Roode?
I just want to bring it up. Okay. Literally the whole point of this thing for Rude to fight the Ascension, who both Gable and Rude have already beat them already, so we're just literally rinsing and repeating this. So the whole thing is for Rude to show Gable how to beat a big man, and I'm doing air quotes on that one, how to beat a big man. Did the Ascension and fucking whatever, the American Alpha not fight each other or have matches in NXT?
And they might have, but either way, like you said, it's not like Gable's a rookie. He's been on the main roster for a year and a half now.
He's not coming straight off the freaking amateur mat to the professional mat and having Bobby Roode as his coach. Like, what do you think, we're freaking dumb? I swear to God, WWE either thinks you're one of these stupid internet people who have Alexa Bliss or Sasha Banks as their profile picture and stalk them basically. Or you're a child because you don't care. You either don't care or you don't know. That's what they think.
Bobby Roode is the biggest wasted talent on the main roster, and it's not even close.
Oh, 100%. And I would put second Bobby Lashley.
See, at least Lashley is, like, he's bad, but, like, he's not in, like, but where Bobby Roode, like, I feel like his, like, where he was in NXT to where he is now is just the biggest nosedive that anybody could possibly take.
Apparently, if you want to come into the WWE, you need to change your name from Bobby, because it doesn't work out for you.
Yeah, they should just team those guys up. The Bobbies.
Yeah, really.
Oh, my God. And then Bobby Roode loses to Connor. It's just like, I have no hope for Bobby Roode anymore. As much as I love him. He's one of my favorites. But my God, what the fuck are they doing with this guy?
I don't know. Don't know.
Another thing that I don't know if you liked it or not was the Elias and Kevin
God.
Owens making fun of the Seattle Supersonics thing.
Okay. You know what? That was great. And anybody... That was legit heat. Anybody who sits there and says that Ciampa and all that heat he's getting is legit heat, wrong. You're wrong. That was legit heat. You literally had a whole crowd pissed off to the point where they wouldn't let you talk. on a microphone where they can amplify your sound. Wouldn't let you say, you couldn't even hear Elias sitting next to you, like Owens couldn't. And there were people in the arena saying, I couldn't hear him. That is heat. Now, granted, it's cheap heat. I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's cheap heat. I'd do it. But, you know,
It got them to boo them for like 10 minutes
straight. It got them
straight.
to boo them for fucking 10 minutes. Now the people are going to be hot at those motherfuckers anytime they come back to, was it Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I liked it.
But
One of the few times where a crowd hijacking shit is okay.
Now, what do you think about this Elias and Kevin Owens alliance?
All that sucks.
With Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley and
they're trying to do something for Cena. They're building something up for Cena because none of this makes sense. So my only guess is they're doing it to build for Cena. But at this point, how are we going to have a Bobby Lashley versus Cena feud eventually?
they're probably going to get a 6-man
looking.
tag at Crown Jewel.
I mean, probably, but that's another pay-per-view or another event is useless. But I don't know. I mean, I actually am digging the whole what's his nuts, the mini-me guy,
Lio Rush.
Lio Rush. God, I can never remember his name. I mean, I'm digging that, but it's just stupid because he plays this douchey ass heel on 205 Live, then he goes on Raw and he's a fucking babyface. Get your shit together. So I mean, like, it's cool when I'm watching it on Raw, but then you think about it and you're like, wait a minute, this guy's supposed to be he is portrayed himself as a prick, which is good. I mean, we need more pricks. I'm not debating that. And he's athletic, so he's a good prick. He plays a good prick. So why aren't we pushing that?
I have the same issue reversed with Drake Maverick with freaking AOP.
Same.
He's like this monster heel manager on Raw, but yet he's this babyface GM on 205 Live.
Notice this week how they dressed him up like Paul Ellering too. So what are we? I mean, I get it. Paul Ellering didn't want to travel with the guys, but fuck, just have him be there for big events. If this is what we're gonna do, he could have fucking made it to 6 or 7 pay-per-views a year. Come on.
I don't know what's up with that. And anything else of importance, I don't know what they're doing with your boy Braun. Well, I know what they're doing with your boy Braun in this alliance.
Right.
They're spoon feeding him to Roman Reigns and shit.
Killing him. They literally had the hottest product in the world in the last 7, 8 years probably, and they've murdered it.
How they did this to Braun Strowman, I have no clue why.
I don't know. It's like they almost are like, and you know what's funny is usually they do this kind of shit to the guys that come in from like the indies and stuff. It's not usually their homegrown talent that they fuck over like this, where they make them hot, kill them, and then fucking make them hot again if they can. But it's like, damn, you're doing this to your guy, your boy, Vince's boy. Just doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes sense. We're living in an Alice in Wonderland dream world where there's clocks on the ceiling and fucking the sky on the grass and grass in the sky and nobody knows what the fuck is happening.
See, Monday Night Raw, when they have the promo come across the screen at the beginning where it says WWE Then Now Forever, they should just say nothing makes sense as the 3 words. Before that's my opinion on it. Are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. And the one thing that was decent on this show, actually, was the Ruby Riott and Ronda Rousey match. I actually didn't think that was horrible. Like, it wasn't great. Like, it didn't blow my socks off, but, like, it was watchable. And I'm actually been impressed with Ruby Riott lately. I was never a fan of Ruby Riott, but she grew her hair out a bit. She's looking a little better. And I actually...
as a talent, I've always liked Ruby Riott. I mean, she's got a good character, good skill set. She's good in the ring. She's smooth. She's got fucking experience. I like that she doesn't take shit. Like when all that stuff happened with Brie. Did you see that no-sell she did for her when like Brie like jumped up and hit her in the face and she just no-sold the shit out of it? I'm like, I love it. Love it.
So I'm going to give props to Ruby Riott this week because I actually think she looked pretty good. Although,
God,
I mean,
she always looks good.
of course she
Fuck her
lost to
too.
Ronda, but she didn't. It wasn't a bad showing. Like, it wasn't like she got absolutely
Well,
squashed.
no, everybody should lose to Ronda. There's nobody
Oh,
on the
I
roster that
agree.
should beat Ronda.
But I'm just saying, at
Nobody
least
should beat Ronda.
I'm just saying, at least it wasn't a squash. That's all I'm saying. Is like, at least it made Ruby look.
You can have Ronda beat the shit out of people and not make it look like a squash match and have it look like competitive, like they did with Alexa. They did it with Alexa. I mean, hell, who'd have thought that she could have had a competitive match with Ronda Rousey, but she did.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. I mean, they're not going to have Ronda lose, so they have to at least make her not, look like she has any competition whatsoever. She has to at least have a decent match.
Well, I mean, you can't literally, you know what I'm saying? You can't have a chick come out and dominate and have nobody to compete with her. Well, then what's the point of having the women's division if you just got this woman who's going to murder everyone?
Exactly.
I mean, she should murder everyone. There's no debating that, but
yeah.
You got to do it the right way. There's ways to do it, and it's been done over the history of wrestling for years and years and years.
Yeah. So I'm going to give props to Ruby Riott. I thought she had a good showing this week. That was probably one of the only good highlights of Raw for me. And I guess the only other thing we'll talk about in the show was the ending with the Brothers of Destruction and Triple H and Shawn Michaels segment.
I guess I should do a retraction from a show a couple weeks ago. I said that Kane could not wrestle anymore. Apparently, I guess there's ways around it. So I guess the WWE donated like $250,000 to Knoxville's like road commission. So basically, Knoxville's roads are covered for the next year, and Kane's able to go and wrestle at a few different events. So remember how I said that Michaels and all that matches wasn't going to happen? Yeah, I'm wrong. It's going to happen. Sorry.
So Shawn Michaels, his retirement match at WrestleMania means absolutely nothing now.
I believe it's 100% over. He'll have a match at either Survivor Series, WrestleMania.
I think they're going to have a tag team match at Crown Jewel. That's my thought.
I mean, I could see that.
Just to sell tickets, because apparently they have requested to pay Vince $20 million to have The Rock show up. And if they can't
I
have,
didn't hear that.
I saw it today. If they can't have The Rock show up, then what else? Then they gotta have dig into the cookie jar some other way, right? Why not have Shawn Michaels?
Tell them right now, The Rock doesn't just do shit for money. He has enough of it now.
I know.
I don't think he's just gonna go. You know what? For $20 million, first off, if they have that much money to blow around to one person, as much shit as that country's in, that screams everything about them. But that's asinine. I mean, like, I understand you want to give Lesnar $1 million to come in. $20 million to have The Rock show up, cut a promo that he did 20 years ago, and then leave? Fuck you.
Apparently they wanted him to have a title. So you can see him win a title somehow?
Okay, if this is the way that wrestling's going to be, that the Saudis are going to control it because they've got all the money, I'm done. I will be so done with modern wrestling and the WWE.
Like, I have no problem with them wanting to expand overseas and go to these other countries. But the thing is, when they're
going to let them book it?
No, but the problem is when they have it overlap and go above their own television that we're getting on a monthly and weekly basis for our pay-per-views. That's where I have an issue with it.
Well,
those shows are becoming more important than our shows.
Oh, for sure. And you know what? I mean, we talked about that a little bit last week with them cutting all our pay-per-views and shit for, like Nashville lost out on Hell in a Cell. I was fucking pissed. Granted, it wasn't a good pay-per-view, so I didn't miss out on that much anyway, but still, it could have been ended up differently if the booking or the pay-per-view had stayed in the same way, but irrelevant. But you know what I'm saying? It's all fucking horseshit.
Anyways, do you have any thoughts on this this segment we got with the double choke slam and Shawn Michaels being bald and just I can never look at him the same way again now that he's bald? But because I feel like half his gimmick was his hair.
Yeah,
Did you like the double choke slam and then the tombstone?
Of course. Okay, anytime that Undertaker and Kane comes out and chokeslams somebody, and it's a double chokeslam, and then does the whole fist thing, double fist thing at the end, going to the Undertaker's, that's cool.
Now I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I'm gonna say the people out there that say that why do we keep digging back into the cookie jar and why don't they try to produce new stars? That's the other
I'm
argument.
not disagreeing, but they're trying to pull for Australia. This really isn't for us.
Yeah.
This whole thing is not for us. I mean, it's cool that they're letting it play out on Raw because they have to.
But these
it's
places,
kind of like what I was going to say with the whole Saudi thing was that Vince is not going to sit there and let these places book months of television and tie him up like that. Having The Rock hold the title, because then he'd have to find some way to get it on TV and have The Rock on TV, and that's going to be impossible. The Rock schedule, same thing with this. How are these guys with all their schedule? I mean, I guess Taker and Shawn really aren't doing too much right now, but still, all these guys, they got shit to do. Kane's a fucking public servant. Triple H is running 4 companies at one time. What are you doing? We can't have these guys out here all the time. I mean, it's okay if they want to. I think, honestly, the Triple H thing will probably be done after this. And because he's kind of had his, stuff the last few WrestleManias. So I think they'll probably ride with Michaels and Taker and Kane for a little while, just because it's not super steaming pile of shit that they're trying to cover up again. So
the other arguments people were having were that why don't they do these guys against new talent? Like, people were saying, like, why don't they do Michaels versus Daniel Bryan or something like that? Or
doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so basically what you're saying is you want an iPhone whatever to go up versus an iPhone 8, an iPhone 3 or whatever. Come on, man. I don't want to watch that.
Don't want to watch the new guys or the old guys put over the new talent?
I'm okay with that if they can work, but I'm sorry, Shawn Michaels, I don't really think he could really work anymore, to be honest with you.
Apparently, people say he could still go. I mean, I don't know if I agree with it or disagree with it. I have to see what he does.
If it puts Daniel Bryan over, which I don't think he needs to be put over anymore, plus that would honestly, to me, just be a slap to Daniel Bryan for us to be like, he's going for a title and going up against these guys for title shots, and then now, you know what? Let's have him go up against Shawn Michaels, the guy who's been retired for 10 years. That's just kind of dumb. You got to kind of put the old-timers against the old-timers and let that feud kind of play out. It's okay if it's a one-off kind of thing, but I just, for a top guy to go up against an old guy, I just don't think it'll work.
Well, I think what they were trying to accomplish, it got the job done for getting people hyped up for this show. I mean, the people in Australia are going to be hyped to see this match, obviously, even though we've seen it many a times, and yeah, it's rinse and repeat, but it has a different purpose. Well, it serves a different purpose at this point.
You want to know what's funny is the WWE wants you to think that we've seen this Undertaker Triple H match a lot. I think those guys have only really been in a match with each other like 7 or 8 times in their whole careers.
Yeah, but the thing was they had 2 WrestleMania matches. They had 2 WrestleMania matches in a row.
If you want to do something that actually means something, why aren't we doing Brock versus Taker?
Why is that would be a squash again?
Destroy Brock. I get it.
We saw that that would be terrible. We saw that way too many times during that 2-year period.
Well, I agree, but it just you're talking about rivalries here, and if you want to talk about a rivalry, that's basically Undertaker's only legitimate rival in my eyes in today's world.
Kane.
No.
Him and Kane have had great feuds over the years.
Yeah, over the year, not anymore.
Yeah, well, that's why they're doing this. That's why they're doing the Shawn Michaels Triple H thing, because they're the only people that could possibly have beef with them at the moment.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And you were saying, about putting the new talent over with the old guys. That's why I don't think it really works.
Yeah, well, then again, Taker put Reigns over, and that didn't do fuck all for him. So,
well, I think in a big match, if you build it up, it can be done properly. If Daniel Bryan is the champion, and you want to have Michaels come in and be the prick that he used to be, his royal prick, because we all know he's got it inside of him, and let him just come out.
He's born again Christian, man.
Yeah,
not
whatever.
Like that anymore.
Yeah, lame. Don't believe that shit either. People don't change. But fine, if you want to have him act like a prick and undermine Bryan as he's got the title, you could build a storyline off of that. But if you just throw Bryan's plans out of the way or anybody else's plans out of the way to go with an old timer, it's stupid on their part, hurts their career. I just don't think it helps anybody other than maybe casual ratings, which, like we were talking about last week, there's not really any casual fans anymore, in my opinion.
Well, that's a discussion for another day.
Right.
But
On to SmackDown.
yeah, we'll move on from the. I like I said, I thought it served it did its job. What they had to do.
Yeah.
Was it the same shit we've seen before? Yes, but they were doing it for a different reason, for a different audience this time. And while they're doing that, they're sacrificing what we're supposed to see every week, which to them means more right now than to us.
I mean, because they're making the money.
Yep,
it's making the
that's
money,
right.
and ratings aren't obviously the TV show ain't making enough because they just made that huge TV deal. But obviously to Fox, ratings don't matter because they're gonna pay all the millions and billions of dollars for it anyway. So Vince is making the best of both worlds right now.
He's trying to sacrifice good product for a little bit of money. Which, I mean, do I blame him? Do I blame him? No.
Well, I can, but I think it's the reason he's doing it is to fund all this other shit that he wants to do, the XFL and all this other junk that I keep hearing about that he wants to do, and it's just like, dude.
Yeah, apparently he wants to
redo
the network somehow.
Right. Why don't you focus on wrestling? The thing your whole thing is named after.
Because, like you've said in the past, wrestling is dead.
It's true.
So we'll move on to SmackDown. And my reactions to SmackDown were, it wasn't great, it wasn't horrific, it was somewhere in the middle. There were some really bad things, and there were some good things. But to me, the show just makes more sense as a whole than Raw does. Just like watching the show, it pisses me off a little bit, but it doesn't make me sit there and go, "This was pointless for me to watch," like Raw does on a weekly basis.
Not a majority of it. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. As soon as they started making pancakes on live fucking television on a sports program or an entertainment program, I turned it off. I said, I'm done. I can't. I'm not doing this.
That's what I mean. They have to have some shit in there for the comic relief and the kids or whatever the fuck.
Okay,
it was
you can
for.
do comic relief and stuff. This is getting old.
These pancakes. I'm done with the New Day pancakes.
This is so fucking stupid.
New Day could be doing so much more than
anybody who
making
thinks this
pancakes.
is funny has a small mind, because
It's
it's not funny. It's not funny. Makes zero sense. Not funny.
That literally brought SmackDown down like 3 notches in my books this week. That was atrocious.
It was truly. It just, that shit pisses me off, obviously, but it's just riding me up walls I've never been before.
So, do we want to talk about what do you want to talk about in the show besides the pancake garbage?
I mean, we could, we were talking about it a little bit earlier. The whole Orton thing. We're digging that.
That is probably my. I mean, obviously Styles and Joe's great, but I'm loving this Randy Orton, like, just brutalizing everybody and doing all this weird shit, like, manipulate, like joint manipulation and like hurting people.
Oh yeah.
Is phenomenal. He almost broke Dillinger's finger this week.
Oh no, I love that shit.
Man,
ever since Pete Dunne and all them have kind of brought that back, I'm like, keep doing more of that shit. That shit is awesome.
And I don't know if it's gonna go anywhere, but I'm happy that Dillinger actually had a meaningful segment on the show.
Right, I don't think it will, but it's just kind of one of those things. I think Randy's running roughshod on people, which is fine.
He's running roughshod on all the baby faces.
Yeah, and Dillinger is a good mid-card babyface. Not a top one.
No.
Maybe not even a mid one at this point, the way they're pushing him. But he is a good talent and somebody that can make Randy look good, too.
And like
I've always said that about Ty. Ty makes people look good.
Ty was definitely selling that finger spot. Like he was selling it really beautiful.
Ty's just a good worker, man, and that's probably his downfall, is that he's a good worker, because most of the time when you're a good, solid worker, you get shit on. So, I mean, it's just kind of the way it works. It's always kind of worked, if you look at it. I mean, hell, look at one of our favorite people, D'Lo Brown, one of the greatest fucking workers in the history of wrestling, and he was nothing, basically. I mean, it's sad, shit like that is sad.
Yeah, but again, it's nice to see Dillinger getting a meaningful segment on the show and making the most of a shitty situation of him basically getting his finger ripped off. But
right,
I thought, and again, Orton is just continuing to just be like better and better in my books every week with what he's doing right now.
I mean, what a turnaround from 6 to 8 months ago.
I couldn't wait for
we
Randy
were
Orton to get the
talking
fuck
about
off my television
we were
6 months ago.
Literally just all. I mean, I remember me, you, and Kyle talking about it all the time on Xbox and different stuff about how geez, just retire already. If this is what you're gonna do, then just go home.
The thing is, when Randy Orton is motivated, like I think he is now,
he's ridiculous.
But when he's not motivated, he's stale as bread. And I think.
Well, I mean, oh yeah, and I mean that's been his way his whole career. I mean, look what they said about him in OVW, where Randy is so talented, he doesn't realize how talented he is, and he doesn't have to try because he's so talented. But if he tried, just imagine he could have been greater than Ric Flair. Randy Orton could have been the greatest wrestler of all time if he really wanted to be. He obviously didn't want to be. He was cool with where he's at, which I don't hate on him for that.
And he did some stuff in his younger years where he kind of messed up for a while.
Right. And hey, we all do that shit, man. We're all fucking young, but it's one of those things where I'm digging the way that they're pushing him.
Yeah, and I think it's the right way. He's over he's not at the end of his career, but he's definitely on the back half of it.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's knowing his role now, and they're giving him this freedom to just kind of go out there and just be who he is, that's basically who he's just, a douchebag guy that just wants to, hurt people. Doesn't give a fuck about the fans. Face Randy Orton never was believable for me because he is not a baby face at all.
I mean, Randy Orton's a perma heel, just like I think Bobby Roode should be a perma heel. It's one of those things that guys just are just better as heels. And you it's like Cena. It's like Cena. Everybody thought when he was younger that he was going to be the biggest, baddest heel and the next Ric Flair, everything. And he turned out to be the top baby face. I mean, and it works out sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't. But it's one of those things where, I dig the way that Orton is looking for sure.
I can't disagree with that. We'll move on to this. I don't know what your thoughts on this were, but we had R-Truth and Carmella versus Almas and Vega, and Carmella and Truth won.
I mean,
the only thing that I have a problem with is that Almas is so good that I don't think he should be losing to R-Truth.
Almas is amazing, and if he could speak English, he'd be.
But
really
Vega's
great.
His perfect manager.
For NXT, I really think she was, and now I don't know. Because managers, they're just kind of useless.
Yeah, they're useless on the main roster. I agree with that.
They're not
used properly. Besides, if your name's not Paul Heyman, then they don't give a fuck about you as a manager on the main roster.
They basically consider, because I'm sorry, a woman that wrestles too, to me, is not really a manager. You're more of a partnership than anything, which is not really the way it should be looked at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
it's just, I don't know. I really liked her on NXT, and they kind of allowed her more freedom, but she doesn't talk anymore. So what's the point of having a manager if she's not going to talk?
Yeah, they're having her more wrestle now. Vega's wrestled more matches on the main roster than she never did in NXT. She was a wrestler in TNA before.
Oh, she was?
Yes, she was a wrestler in TNA.
For how long?
I think a couple years. She wasn't she wasn't anything special, but she was a wrestler.
I was gonna say, because when she first started wrestling, I was like,
She was not like Lana, where she literally had no training whatsoever.
Okay, because I thought they were just trying to do a whole Lana thing to go with. Maybe that was going to be the whole new feud, because that's kind of the way it was looking, that we're going towards this mixed tag kind of thing. I mean, we've got all these husband and wife duo things, and I really hope we don't, but I don't know.
Yeah, Carmella, I don't know what they did with her, because she went from being the supposedly, and I don't agree with it, but the biggest heel in the women's division on SmackDown as the heel champion. And then in a month, she went to basically managing with R-Truth.
It's like everything else with their booking, man. I mean, it's just... Has there really been any explanations for heel and face turns anytime recently?
Not really, and we haven't really got a confirmation from Carmella about why she's teaming with R-Truth, other than they got paired together for the Mixed Match Challenge.
Other than the fact that their fucking names were randomly again.
So
air
that
quotes, drawn out of a hat.
instantly just stops her heel run for whatever reason.
So we're focusing on Facebook to place the booking on SmackDown now. It's just that kind of, it's like we were talking about with the whole, Saudi Arabia and the Crown Royal and all, Crown Jewel and the Super Showdown. It's just, why are we letting all this other shit book our shit?
Exactly. That's what they're doing. And I mean, Carmel, like Trey just said in the chat, I mean, Almas didn't lose, so it doesn't make him look terrible, but just having, I just want Almas to have a bigger role on the show is basically what my gripe about it is. The guy is so talented. I don't want him in a mixed tag with Carmella and R-Truth. That's just...
I mean, no, I don't either.
And I'm happy that R-Truth's getting TV time. Like, we said it every week. I love R-Truth. He has a role in the show. Glad he's finally getting some TV time. Some people noticing him.
Just sucks. It's these mixed tag things.
The mixed match
No
challenge
storyline,
needs
we're
to
just-
end. As much as I love women's
I hate
wrestling,
that. I
this
hate
shit
that.
has to end. I'm done with it already.
It sucks. How many? I would really. You know what? We should throw a poll up this week. How many people actually watch that shit?
Well, we can't in
sit down
Canada.
and watch
Here
that.
we can't
Well,
even watch
I know,
it.
I know you can. I know you can. But we have quite a bit of fans that aren't from Canada, so I figure, I would actually like to see the stats on that one. It can't be very high.
We'll put a poll up on the Lowdown Show Twitter account this week. How many people actually watch the Mixed Match Challenge?
Because I would venture to say it's way less than 205 Live, which just got canceled. So, or just got canceled from being a live show. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of like, what are we doing here? Again, what are we doing here?
We'll move on to Paige coming out, starting the show, talking about the Styles and Samoa Joe feud going on. What did you think of that?
Kind of stupid again. Here's my thing with that. She sat there and let Joe cut that promo in front of the house last week, and now this week, I want him fired and I want him suspended. Oh, match still on.
Now Styles did that via satellite thing like The Rock would do.
Like I'm okay with that actually I was okay with AJ saying I'm not leaving my house until I get confirmation that Joe's on a plane. I don't blame him. If in that scenario, if you're creating that disbelief, that's good. That's what you want. But for Paige to come out there and talk about I wanted him fired and I wanted him this. Well, why didn't you do that last week? Why didn't you come out last week and say, Joe, if you don't get the fuck away from that house, I will fire the shit out of you. If you don't get away from that house, you can kiss that title goodbye. You will never see it in SmackDown. If you're gonna do shit like that, then do it. Don't fucking threaten it and then say, oh, you know what, AJ wants the shot. Oh, we gotta let him do it. Oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, but we're gonna cut a promo.
And then Styles revealed that he's dropping charges against Joe. And then Paige didn't want to fire or didn't want Joe fired.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, she said she wanted him fired at first. And then, but AJ didn't want him fired. AJ wanted the match to go on. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. If this was a business, because it is a business.
And if this was heel for babyface reversed.
That's what I'm saying.
I've loved this feud.
Involved
we have loved this feud the whole way up to this. I did not like this segment this week.
They gotta tweak it. It's the thought process and the story is the top of the story is good. The details in the story, starting to get a little lame. But they gotta work on that. Hopefully this was just kind of a lapse. Hopefully once this whole Super Showdown thing is done, maybe we can actually get some legitimate booking,
because they were building this feud up really well over the last few weeks.
And I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that this week killed the feud for me at all or anything, or that because like I was saying, the AJ saying all that stuff I liked that part. You could have literally just, if the whole point was for Paige to cut a promo and talk about fire at Joe, then Joe should have fucking been suspended and we should have postponed this match till Crown, whatever.
Like we said on the How to Book segment last week, Joe should have just been suspended and then just show up.
And then just start showing up and, like Randy Orton doing Rough House.
Yeah.
beating the shit out of everybody. And you know what? Oh, you're suspended, or then you threaten firing, or then he gets fired, and then he could go away for a little while, and then he comes back, and blah, blah, bam, we got a whole other fucking thing for WrestleMania.
Yep. So leading into this match, I don't know. I feel like it left a little bit of sour taste in my mouth at the end. If this was the end of the, the feud going into the pay-per-view, I just thought that it could have been better.
Oh no, I can't. I can't disagree with you there.
And I guess we'll end with everybody's favorite moment of SmackDown this week. One night in Milwaukee. Oh my god!
I'm gonna be real with you. Stupid. So I don't want to talk about it.
Aiden English.
I don't get it. I don't
basically,
like it.
So she said, "I want you," but then I'm like, okay, so next.
Then
week,
they paused it.
Yeah, I'm like, next week they're gonna come out and it's gonna just be something Lana said after that.
I mean, like, it's pretty bad editing on their part too. They couldn't even edit that properly to where it even looked like she said, "I want you," and then had her do a pause or something. I mean, my God, they're fucking acting.
It's probably gonna end up being. It's gonna end up being something like, "I want you to help Rusev" or something.
That's what it's gonna be. Like I want you to help Rusev tonight, or I want you to get in the ring tonight, or because I think what they're doing is they're making people think it's gonna be like some cheating scandal. But basically, I bet it's an end up. Lana was trying to get Aiden to fuck over Rusev so that she could get Aiden out of the way or something like that. And then we go down this rabbit hole with this bullshit, and it's just stupid.
And by the way, where the fuck did Lana's accent go? Like, it's like she has it, and then she doesn't have it.
She's been doing that for years, though. I mean, like, it's like one day she has it, next day, or next show she doesn't have it. Or even in the same conversation, it comes and goes. It's like, all right. Just pick whether or not you're going to... Honestly, at this point, we all know you don't have it. You literally have a reality TV show. Why
we get it. You're not Russian, okay? You don't have to fake it anymore. Trey says he thinks the editing was done like that on purpose to make English look stupid.
Well, then they achieved their goal. it looks stupid. But if that's the point, if that's the case, then that whole fucking thing is just stupid. What's the fucking point of that? So English is supposed to look stupid, which he already does for trying to break up a married couple. With him looking like he does and Rusev looking like he does. Get the fuck out of here.
This feud's gonna be trash.
It's one of those fucking throw-in fucking
It's gonna be the pre-show of the next big pay-per-view.
This is the build-up for the pre-show for fucking the next 4 pay-per-views.
Woohoo! Bryan's in the chat. He said, Paige said Joe did the most horrendous thing in WWE history. He goes, I'm pretty sure Taker hung Boss Man above the ring.
Wasn't Stephanie kidnapped at one point and almost forced to be married? Yeah, I'm gonna go with that's a little bit worse.
I think this was the most horrendous thing in the PG era. If you want to go that far, but I bet even stuff that Orton's been doing.
Didn't Pillman pull a gun on Stone Cold? What?
Boss Man killed Al Snow's dog. I don't know what Paige was.
But Boss Man fed Al Snow his dog. Didn't kill him. Fed Al Snow his dog.
Michael Chow said that in the chat. Yeah. So in 30 seconds we thought of 5 things that were already more horrific than that. But apparently, Paige was right. Great. And
I'm not. And I love how they're portraying it as like this home invasion. Joe didn't fucking bust a window down and hop in the house. It's not a home invasion. He rang the doorbell.
Yeah, Boss Man drugged Big Show's dad's
and then AJ's like, my daughter's going around asking about Uncle Joe and looking under her closet. What? No, why would you say Uncle Joe in that scenario there? Because now people are like, wait a minute, so are they still friends or what? Like this, they're creating the wrong disbelief here.
Anyways, this sucked.
Yes.
So there's nothing else of really importance to talk about on SmackDown other than Shelton Benjamin beat Daniel Bryan. Don't know where they're going with that. Which I guess
means Shelton's getting a push, but again, out of nowhere. So what are we doing?
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because Bryan fucked over Miz to have R-Truth win a couple weeks ago, so now Miz kind of fucked over Bryan to have Benjamin beat him.
So are we getting a tag match with Daniel Bryan and Truth versus Shelton Benjamin and The Miz next week? Bam! I just booked your SmackDown main event.
I don't know. I like Benjamin. I think he's a great worker.
No,
but
I like
to me,
Benjamin
like he has
too.
no
Just-
direction whatsoever.
I think it would be really fucking stupid though if they do this thing where they act like he's gonna be like another under guy to Miz. Because Shelton Benjamin should not be an under guy to Miz. I'm sorry.
Speaking of heels,
Miz is a really good chicken shit heel, but he ain't no Shelton Benjamin.
as far as in-ring talent, yeah.
And far of everything.
Well, Benjamin can't talk. That's always been his issue.
Other than cutting promos, Benjamin's got Miz on everything.
The other thing I guess we talk about quickly is Becky Lynch coming out and basically making a new poster for Super Showdown.
Like the poster.
Her standing on top of Charlotte's fucking...
I kind of figured that was going to happen after, 2 weeks ago, where Charlotte came into the whole, the studio where they were taking the pictures, and they did that picture behind the green screen. I was like, oh, well, that's going to be put somewhere. I just didn't know where at that time, but yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, that segment wasn't terrible. It's good. It's good to build it up. It's kind of killing. Charlotte's kind of looking heel-ish too, so it's almost kind of like anti-hero versus heel at this point, or hell, anti-hero versus anti-hero. I don't know. I don't know what Becky is, to be honest with you.
That's the problem.
To force her to be a heel, but I don't know what she really is.
Because she's still getting cheered, so it's like, why don't we just turn her at this point? What?
I really, really hope that at this thing, that, like we were talking about for the last pay-per-view, do a damn double cross.
The double turn is what I booked.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. But this segment, I mean, it's one of the only other good things going on in SmackDown that I actually liked. I thought it did its job leading into whatever they're doing. They're having a match at Australia, but I have a feeling that it's going to be another match at Evolution. I feel like this is going to be another cheap win or a DQ or something, and this isn't over between these two after the Super Showdown event.
Something will happen at Evolution. I think for any of the women's matches that are happening at Super Showdown, you guys might as well just write those down as whoever's got the title, whoever's the popular one, they're winning.
It's going to be a glorified live event. Like, I'm sorry, that's what it is.
I mean, it is. Essentially, that is what it is.
Yep. But, anyways.
Like, you remember when they used to do those, like, they said they were pay-per-views, but they weren't. Those ones, like, in the 90s where, like, they were in, like, UK or wherever. It wasn't really a pay-per-view. It was more of a glorified live event on TV that they try to make money off of,
Brian, I'm not repeating that. Trey says the ending was anticlimactic. And Datila says as long as the title doesn't change hands, which I don't think it will anyway, so we don't have to worry about that. So I guess that's it for SmackDown this week. So there's your quick, I guess you say quick, review of both shows this week. Yeah. Since we're not going to talk about that anymore. So we'll get into Ty's favorite moment of the week, and that is...
That should be your favorite moment of the week.
Oh, I guess. Maybe since I'm only post-2000s mark, since I need to learn up on my 80s wrestling before... So anyways, let's get into that time of the show. It is This Week in Wrestling History. And for this week in wrestling history, let's take it to Tyler Jones. Take it away.
All right, you little snot-nosed gremlins, take your seats. This week, we actually got some really interesting stuff. I kind of threw some little comedic stuff in there too. We'll start off October 2nd, 1966. This was the day that one of the greatest heels of his era was born. One of my favorite heels of all time, Yokozuna. I've always been a big fan of Yoko. I liked him with Fuji and, of course, with Cornette, too.
Yokozuna.
Yoko was honestly, like, one of the better heels ever, if you want to get real. He was insane at drawing heat, and that whole Japanese, America thing back in the day was really popular, too. It was just one of those deals that really, really worked out well for him, and, I mean, he the deal with with Brett and with oh my gosh, now of course I'm drawing all these blanks.
Wow, Mr. Historian over here,
yeah,
botching.
I know. It's been a long day.
So did you say this was the debut for Yokozuna?
No, today was the October 2nd, 1966 was his birthday.
Oh, well. Shoutouts to Yokozuna. Rest in peace.
Yes, sir. October 3rd, 2000. Well, should be a day that the WWE should have been happy about, but I guess a lot of people were pissed. Vince Russo and that fuckhead Ed Ferrara leave the WWE like pussies under the dead of the night when Vince is in England doing some kind of something. And then these MFers are such fucking vaginas that they can't even go to Vince, who's 20 minutes from their house at the Meadowlands for an event. They call him and tell him that they're quitting and that they're going to WCW. So Vince McMahon pulled that retard out of the video store that he was flailing at, made him an editor of a newspaper, took him under as a writer, made him who he was, and then Vince walks for more money.
Yep, because Vince Russo thought he was king shit back then, and whatever show he was on was going to win.
Back then, still does.
So that's about all we need to talk about Vince Russo. Clearly he's an idiot, and he made the wrong decision. So that was
He also was helped WCW go down even further than they were already. So
yeah, so maybe we can call that. Yeah, maybe we can call that the nail in WCW's coffin day.
Essentially, it was. If you want to get real. October 4th. This was a huge one. I was doing a little bit of research on this too. Really interesting story. So on October 4th, 1975, Ric Flair, David Crockett, Bob Ruggers, Tim Woods, and Johnny Valentine were involved in the infamous plane crash. Basically, it was David Crockett's plane. It was being flown by like a former World War II pilot that was a friend of David Crockett's. Apparently, something happened with the weight, so he decided something with the fuel. He needed to let some of the fuel out. Well, didn't end up so well because they started running out of fuel and they ended up crashing the plane. David Crockett, he lost 2 teeth in the crash and had arm and head injuries. And then, of course, as we all know, Ric Flair had broken his back in 3 different places and was actually told to never wrestle again. But, Ric Flair sure as hell wasn't going to quit his life. So he basically, I think for like 2.5 years, he did physical therapy and everything to get back in the ring. And that just amazed the living shit out of me.
Yeah, they always talk about Ric Flair survived a plane crash and now he survived a coma. So that if you're wondering what the plane crash thing was, that's it.
That'd be it, right? And I mean, that's just what an insane story.
I can't believe that he survived. Leave it to Ric Flair to survive death twice.
Right. It's kind of like the whole everybody makes fun of Shane McMahon thing, and I'm like, Shane McMahon, Ric Flair has literally been an alcoholic his entire life, and has lived through that for one. And then, plane crashes and injuries and comas and heart attacks. And how is this man alive?
Because he's God.
And he just got married, and he walked up to Ric Flair Drip, a song made about him by a popular rap group.
He's just the man, and he's just the
GOAT.
He is the greatest human being.
If I could trade places with one person on this planet, it would be Ric Flair. If I could be Ric Flair through the 70s and 80s, I'd be the happiest man on earth.
So, shoutouts to our boy Flair for surviving a plane crash.
Shout out to the greatest of all time. And if you tell me otherwise, you don't know what you're talking about.
I love him. When I met him, he was just an absolute beast.
Guy, so freaking mad you got to meet him, man. I can't believe he wasn't at WrestleCon when we went. It sucked, but it is what it is. He was hurting. Same day, October 4th. This was in 1982. I just thought this was a really interesting stat. Plus, me, a big NWA guy from back then. Sergeant Slaughter beats Ricky Steamboat in the tournament finals for the new NWA US Championship, and it was vacated by Wahoo McDaniel People, if you don't know who that is, please look him up. Another really good wrestler from back in the day. Was actually forced to vacate that title because of injuries from Abdullah the Butcher. Again, if you don't know who Abdullah the Butcher is, God, do some research. Another amazing heel.
Apparently, Superstar Billy Graham says he gave him AIDS. So
Superstar Billy Graham probably had a bunch of butt sex, which is why he has AIDS.
Anyways,
Billy
continue.
Graham, wasn't Billy Graham also a needle pusher? Yeah, that doesn't add up. And you know what? Hey, I'm not debating. Abby might have had, from rumors, that he might have had some hepatitis C. I don't know about AIDS, but hepatitis C is a pretty, especially for a guy his age at that point in time and era. I could see that. But again, that's one of those diseases that can be treated and can be taken care of. So Superstar Billy Graham needs to shut the fuck up. October 5th, 1997. This is another really tough day for the wrestling industry. That was the day that a life of a wrestler who probably would have ended up being, again, one of the greatest of all time. Brian Pillman was found dead in his hotel room due to they initially thought it was due to drugs, and his wife did a whole plea about, everybody needs to look out for drugs, but actually it was a heart condition that ran in his family that went unchecked.
That's horrible.
It's horrible. And you would think, being a professional athlete, that, they
would have gotten checked at some point.
Physicals and checks and et cetera and et cetera. And another one of those things where, like, sports talk all the time about, about money and about, how they do this for the players, and yet everything they do is for the money.
It's all about
really
the money.
And they don't prove that they really give a shit about the players. And that right there is one of those things that just made me it blew my mind, that a heart condition that, for all we know, could have been
for a professional athlete. How the hell could that could have been? It was avoidable. It was definitely avoidable.
Well, we don't know 100% if it was avoidable or not. I mean, it could have still taken his life, but it sure as hell didn't help.
No, but I mean, it could have been prevented.
Right.
The whole situation could have been prevented.
Right.
I'm going to say it's a conspiracy theory, and it was Stone Cold Steve Austin from the storyline.
Okay. That's what the WWE would like for you to believe. But I'm going to be real with you. That's too good of a booking for them to do that, so I'm going to have to go with a hard pass. October 5th, 2004. We'll go up to a little more upbeat here. This is one of the cool things in the modern era, and I know Cappy will be hype about it because we both kind of went nuts over him when we were in New Orleans. In 2004, Carlito debuted.
Yes!
John Cena for the U.S. title.
Carlito!
Won the title. I did not even know that.
Man, it was great. I remember that's like the era where I was watching wrestling every week religiously.
That is awesome.
It was great. I mean, he showed up as Carlito Caribbean Cool, and he beat Cena.
And it sucks is because I hear Cornette talk all the time about how Carlito was one of the greatest OVW wrestlers. He could not get over. He basically had to force to get WWE to give Carlito and Nick Dinsmore contracts, because he basically was saying, how are you going to give the guys that are teaching you guys, your guys, the developmental contract, how to wrestle without giving them contracts? So basically, Cornette, Cena, those Danny Davis, those guys basically were the reason that Carlito got a job with the WWE, and it sucks they gave him the shittiest bullcrap gimmicks because he was a really good talent.
I actually liked Carlito's gimmick. I thought it was a good mid-card heel gimmick.
But he could have been better.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I mean, it could have been a lot worse.
And the whole Apple thing. And
I loved it. See, I'm one of those people that love that shit. And I believe in this match, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he hit Cena with Cena's, like, chains back. He used to carry around the chains for the chain gang thing. And I believe Carlito got the ref distracted and hit him with Cena's chains. Which was
I want to say you're right. With it being in 2004, I just don't remember if Cena he was still doing the Thugonomics, I know.
Yeah, but he was
a
babyface. He was a babyface at the time.
Okay.
Because he had turned babyface after Survivor Series, and then he was still doing the whole Thugonomics thing, but he was still a babyface, and then they kind of transitioned him to like his hustle, loyalty, respect face gimmick. But I loved Carlito. I remember that match vividly. Obviously, I remember the ending of it, but I was a big fan of Carlito, and I guess it's a historic day for the Carlito debut.
Heck yeah.
And yeah, we saw him at WrestleCon in that match against MVP.
Him and what was it, MVP, wasn't it? Him versus MVP.
Yeah.
I mean, that was see we
It wasn't a bad match.
No, it wasn't. And we talk about Kane and Undertaker and all these guys coming back, and then me and you were sitting there marking like 12-year-olds over fucking Carlito and MVP matches.
But those are the guys we never get to see, man.
How hyped did me and you get over Super Crazy? I mean, come on.
And
Come on.
then it's
That's probably the
Hornswoggle.
first time that guy's ever gotten hyped. Oh, I mean, I love Swoggle, but I, I was talking about more like the under guys that weren't super popular.
Like we had a local event here called Wrestlelution that our buddy was wrestling in, and Chris Masters was there, and I marked when Chris Masters came out.
Please tell me he's still doing the Master Lock.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh God.
Anyways, we'll move on from our favorite mid card talent.
So I got 2 more things here. Last day of the week. Well, technically, last day of the week, October 6th, 1999. This was a sad day too for the wrestling industry. This was the day that Gorilla Monsoon passed away due to a heart failure due to complications with diabetes. So please, guys, if you got health problems, go get checked out.
You don't want to lose legends.
No.
And Gorilla Monsoon.
Now hold on. Not saying that any of you guys are legends. You're not. But
in my heart, you're all legends. Okay.
In his heart, you're all legends. That's what he said. So.
But Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan were a great commentary team. They were phenomenal.
Honestly, I would put those two right up there with
King and JR. I feel like it's just like
see. In my opinion, I was a bigger fan of Heyman and JR. But I would put them as the 2 greatest to me in terms of the way they fed off of each other, and their styles were so different.
To me, there wouldn't be those guys without Monsoon and Heenan going at it.
No, hell no. I don't think any commentator, honestly, JR, King, any of those of the modern and 90s era, I really don't think that they'd be who they were without Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby.
They were fantastic.
Just like any manager that grew up, in the past 50 years, no manager doesn't draw from Bobby Heenan. No commentator doesn't draw or can't not draw from Gorilla. You know what I'm saying?
The goats, man.
Essentially, they are the goats.
You got to bow down to the goats.
Bow down.
Bow down.
Last thing I got here, and of course, it's one for me.
Of course.
1997, October 6th. This is the first time that the Cornette's commentary.
Oh my God! Of course, it's Jim Cornette.
Don't. Those were great promos, and they were. Come on, those were awesome. Those where he'd get on there and talk shit about WCW and the WWE. And Vince is letting him do it on freaking live television. I mean, granted, it was taped, but essentially he was letting him just talk all this shit. And it caused a lot of controversy in the wrestling world, apparently, when I was looking it up. Apparently dirt sheets and everything was hounding all over that. Which, I mean, shocker. And I guess WCW was super pissed, too, which fuck them. But, oh, man, those were easily some of my favorite vignette, promo, whatever you want to call them, videos in my wrestling fandom. Those are unbelievable.
Might be one of the most biased things I've ever heard.
Nobody can cut a promo like Jim Cornette.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree that Cornette's good.
About all your fucking women's wrestling all the time.
When was the? Oh, we're not getting into this right now. When was the last time that I've went mark over this stuff? Relax. But yes, the Cornette, those promos were funny. I'll give you that. They served a purpose.
They were good, and they were true. And he spoke a lot of truth.
I mean, when does Cornette not speak the truth? So Vince basically just said, "Okay, go out there and say what you want because you're going to say it anyway. So just might as well go do it."
Exactly. And I guess I read too. I guess at one point he apologized to Sean Waltman over the comments because he said basically, Waltman was just in the crossfire. He said he wasn't really he said he wasn't really patient zero for that like Michaels and the rest of those morons were.
So, is that it for wrestling history this week?
That's it. Class is over, you stupid idiots. Get out.
We need like the school bell, like Matt Stryker over here.
Really. No, you know what you need to do? We need to have like a bell go off and then just go, get out, idiots. Or like have Jericho or whatever.
Well, we'll see what happens with that. And so we're going to get into that part of the show, and it is the list of 10.
You know what? You know what happens? You know what's gonna happen? You just made the list!
That's right. Welcome to the list of 10, where we will say our what makes the list this week and what our perfect 10 moment is of the week, something that we enjoyed. Not a lot to choose from this week, so you can have 2 list moments, you can have 2 10 moments if you wanted to. But we'll start off with Tyler Jones, and you can go into whatever one you want first. Go ahead.
Well, let's give me more time to think about the good. I'm gonna go ahead and give you my list moment. And yeah, it's got to go to the fucking Big E and the boys making pancakes on fucking live national sports television. There's fucking mixing bowls and griddles and fucking boxes. First off, cereal boxes of pancakes being poured on children's faces. This is just weird. So that's my moment.
So, for live pancakes demonstration on Smackdown this week.
You know what? You just made the list!
Yep, there you go. You
So
made
wait,
the
that's
list.
what they were doing? They were teaching people how, because like I said, as soon as I saw it, they
No,
came back to
I'm just
commercial
saying,
about
like,
pancakes. I was like, I'm done.
I'm just
But-
saying it was basically a freaking pancake demo
God,
that
I
you'd
was gonna
see
say,
on
were they
TV.
fucking literally sit out there trying to fucking teach people how to make pancakes? How fucking stupid do they think we are?
No, that was basically just what I thought of it. It was just terrible.
Okay.
My 10 moment this week, and ironically, of course, it's going to go to the Dillinger and Randy Orton segment on SmackDown this week. I thought it was very well done. I thought the way that Orton, manipulated, basically almost broke Ty Dillinger's finger on the turnbuckle, I guess you can call it, like, I don't even know what that was.
It's still technically the turnbuckle.
Yeah, and just the way that, it was just such a well-done segment. Dillinger selling it huge, making it seem like he was in agonizing pain when Orton was clearly not breaking his finger, but the way he made it look, I thought it was just well done all around by both of them. And like I'm saying on the show, I can't give Randy Orton much more praise than I've been giving him for the last month and a half. And again, just for having Tyler Dillinger in a meaningful segment this week. So that's why it's going to be my perfect 10. So yeah,
I'll tell you what, you're sitting there talking about my bias. How about this podcast network's bias to Ty Dillinger just because he's from your hometown?
What's biased about it?
What's biased about it?
Anyways,
Honestly,
what?
No, go ahead.
What is your next moment? I'm not arguing with you about this right now.
Of course you're not. Because you'll lose. Well, what am I on? My 10 moment?
Well, you can give another list moment if you wanted to. If there was
that'd
nothing
be
that you
everything.
liked.
I can't just give you continual list moments. Let's see. I'm gonna go with my 10 moment of the week. You know what? I really thoroughly enjoyed kind of watching Truth this week. Again, I think I said that last week too. I know he's not really doing anything, but it's just fun watching that man on TV. He's just got an infectious personality, and just as long as he's not doing stupid fucking dance breaks, I'm okay. But that's not his fault, I don't think. But,
What do you think of him shagging Carmella?
Wait a minute, is that a thing?
No, I'm just saying as far as storyline goes.
Good for him.
I'm digging Carmella's hair change, by the way, but that's the story for
I
another
am
day.
too, actually. I really am too. I'm gonna give that my 10 of the week. Actually, Carmella's hair change.
All right, so for R-Truth and Carmella's new hair, they get Tyler's perfect 10. There you go. My
Gotta
10
have some fun with this show, man. Fuck.
I already gave my 10 moment. My list moment this week, I mean, I think you can see where I'm going with this. It's got to be the Buried Alive match, or Buried Alive.
The Buried Alive match.
The Buried Alive segment.
You basically could put him in a Buried Alive fucking match.
And that's Bobby Roode. I mean, what else do I even have to say about that? I mean, the poor fucking guy is one of the best characters they have when he's being used properly in a heel role. The guy is teaming with Chad Gable, trying to teach him how to wrestle, which, Chad Gable apparently doesn't know how to wrestle these days. And then he goes out there and loses to one half of the jobbing tag team of the last 2 years on the main roster. So just for everything that's going on with Bobby Roode right now, and I can't stand it. The guy deserves so much better. He should be used so much better in such a more meaningful way on this show to be one of the top guys. So that's why the way they're booking Bobby Roode this week.
You know what? You just made the list.
It's got to make the list. Like there's nothing else to me that stands out worse than what they're doing with Bobby Roode right now.
Oh, fuck no. Not in terms of overall.
Yep. And before we get into the fan tweets and then the Super Showdown, I just want to do a quick shout out to our sponsor, ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. They specialize in WWE and MMA apparel with over 10,000 products in stock right now, from t-shirts to sweaters to muscle shirts, even Halloween costumes. God, I can only imagine what those look like. You're not going to want to miss this.
Do they have a Jim Cornette costume?
I think you can make that on your own. But you're not going to want to miss checking out this website, so go check out ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. And as a special added bonus, use the code NOHOLDS at checkout, and you will save 10% on your order. Perfect 10, just like Dillinger, by using the code NOHOLDS. So go check them out, the official sponsor of the No Holds Barred Network, ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. So, we're going to get into that moment, and it is the fan tweets. I've missed this the last couple weeks. Sometimes I just forget. So I apologize, but we're gonna get to it this week. And
I figured we just had nobody that wanted to talk to us, which I don't blame them.
Oh, we got a lot of people that want to talk to us. Not unlike those people on the NXT review. Anyways, so our first questions come, or kind of tweets come from
questions and comments.
Questions and comments. Thank you. Come from Datila. She says, so do you think the IC title and tag titles will be relevant again once the Shield and Ziggler and Drew feud is over with?
Well, duh, of course.
I mean, I would want to say yes, but I don't know.
Once you take them off the Shield, I think everything will be fine.
I think if you put them on the Revival, the Revival has to get some freaking time as the champions, man.
Didn't they fucking lose this week too? By the way, I try to put it out of my mind because they're just pissing me off. But didn't they lose to the fucking B team?
I didn't see that segment, but I really hope not.
Bro, I'm 90% sure now that I'm thinking about it. They lost to the fucking B team this week. The B team without titles.
Anyways, I don't even want to think about that. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to get angry. The IC title, as long as they get the shit off the Shield, I'm okay with it. Because we all know it's all for Roman anyway. It doesn't even matter if Ziggler or if Rollins has the IC title. It doesn't even matter because it's all for Roman anyway. Might as well just give Roman the belt.
I'll tell you what, man. The way they kind of made it sound this week with Dolph losing, the only guy to lose out of the three, I almost wonder if they're going to start doing something where Dolph goes against them, where they kind of do a swerve on us, where they make us think that Dean's going to be, because they kind of did the whole Dean, and then they went to Drew. Maybe they're going to fuck with us and go with Dolph, and Dolph's going to fucking hop to the Shield. That would be weird. But, hell, what they're doing, it wouldn't shock me any.
And then you got Corbin and AOP mixed into this thing, too. Just a mess. Datila's next tweet. All these titles on SmackDown have a feud except for the U.S. title. How would you book a feud for Nakamura?
Well, I kind of did that last week. Basically, what I'm doing is, and they won't do it because they don't want to push Rusev because he's an idiot outside of the ring. And he does too much stuff against the company. Honestly, what I'm doing is I'm making Shinsuke a fucking hardcore heel. I want him to just try to mumble his way through heel promos and try to goddamn do something. Just do something. Come out, do some open challenge. You're doing a big open challenge and start a thing from that. Do something like that. My kind of idea was, to kind of have Rusev come out and, accept the whole championship. What did I just say? The challenge. Come out, accept it, but basically English helps Shinsuke win, and then English becomes Shinsuke's mouthpiece, essentially. That's kind of what I would do with it. Honestly, I really just don't want Shinsuke to have it anymore.
Unless he's gonna have a mouthpiece,
I'm sorry. If you can't talk, you shouldn't hold a title. Sorry.
And I mean, I'm not saying Shinsuke is a bad wrestler by any means.
No,
but
I don't like the style he wrestles at, but I'm not saying that it's bad.
Yeah,
by any stretch.
He just
but
needs
if you
something.
can't talk,
He needs something else.
Can't hold a belt.
He needs a little bit more of personality or something. It's not doing enough for me right now for me to get invested in Nakamura.
And I know our counterparts will be like, "Oh, he was such a good champion on NXT," and I'm like, I wouldn't say he was a great or good champion on NXT. He was okay. He had good matches, but were his feuds really built up? You can't build up a storyline with Shinsuke. You really can't. Because you can't have him go against the guy in terms of verbally. So it just doesn't... I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like Shinsuke holding titles until he learns how to properly speak. And from what I hear is he can speak. So why aren't they letting him speak?
Because they have him doing this no-can-speak English gimmick.
And that's stupid.
Anyways, Datila's last tweet is, do you think there's more to the Aiden's video evidence?
I don't know.
I think it was... I think there is, but it's going to be pointless because it's going to be... And it's going to make an Aiden English look dumb because the way they edited it this week. If it was done on purpose or not.
I'm just going to be honest with you. I really don't care what they do with this because I have zero care for it at all.
Sorry, Datila. Wish we could be a little bit more enthused for your last question.
I can't help you or give you an opinion on it because I don't think they know what they're doing with it. So I really can't. I don't know.
So thank you very much, Datila, for your 3 tweets. Very much appreciated. Wish we had better answers.
And you know what? I know everybody's like, oh, God, maybe the Rock's not coming back. Rock's not coming back for fucking Rusev. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we don't need that again. The Moscow Moose Knuckle and him having sex with Lana, I don't want that again.
No.
So now we'll move on to Cupid Girl at CGirl125 on Twitter. She goes, hashtag the Lowdown Show. Since Mysterio is coming back, who are your top 3 opponents to go up against Rey Mysterio?
Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan.
I'm saying Almas. I think Almas.
That's who he'll start off with. But I would love to see a heel Mysterio versus Daniel Bryan for a title.
Be great. I'd say Bryan, Almas, and I guess if he's going to SmackDown.
I think him and Almas could be a good feud, but honestly, to me, what would be even cooler is if Rey comes back and takes Almas under his wing and just they both heel it up.
Ray's too popular, though. That's the problem. He would never get booed. Rey Mysterio is one of the most popular guys of his time.
Yeah, you're right.
He would never get. He's not believable as a heel. Let's get real.
Yeah, essentially, I'd be doing the same thing as I'm doing with Becky.
Yeah,
bitching about that. Yeah, you're probably right.
So, as for a third person on SmackDown, I mean,
I think him and Miz could have some good,
I think Miz. I think that would be a good one because I don't think they've ever really feuded before. Mysterio and Miz.
I think Ray and Joe could be good too. Granted, 2 completely different sizes, and styles.
Mysterio can be the underdog. Like Joe can just just obliterate him one week.
Yeah,
and then
have Ray win in a pay-per-view with a couple 619s on his ass. I mean, that'd be put over. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, Trey put Big Show, Kane, and Great Khali. That's all. I'm not even gonna try to comfort.
Somebody's been drinking their sorrows away tonight.
So yeah, Cuba Girl, those would be our three for Mysterio. Miz, Almas, and Bryan. Her next tweet is, do you think it would make sense if the Iconics went up against Lay Cool and AJ Lee to go up against Alexa Bliss at Evolution? What are your top 3 dream matches for Evolution?
I'll let you go first since you're the master of the women's wrestling.
Oh, you mean I'm the mark of the women's wrestling?
Well, I like women's wrestling. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it. I just don't think they need to be doing as much shit as they're doing.
I mean, as much as it's gonna tear me apart, I think Alexa and Trish makes a lot of sense, and I think it's a good way to get Alexa over. Well, I mean, she is over, but I think it would be huge for her to get a win over Trish like that. So I wouldn't change that at all. Besides the fact that they haven't really built it leading up to it, but they haven't really built the pay-per-view.
I would have rather had Sasha versus Lita.
Well, that would be that you took my next match out of my mouth. That was gonna be the next thing I was gonna say.
I think that would be an interesting match.
And I guess my third one, I want to see Nia versus Beth Phoenix because they kind of teased it at the Royal Rumble. And they're kind of like the two bigger girls of their era. Like they were, they were different. Like Beth Phoenix isn't clearly as big as Nia Jax, but you know what I mean? Like they were the powerhouse women of their generations. I think it would be a good match to see Beth.
I was gonna say, if we're doing that, man, I want Karma to come back.
I don't think that's happening. She was supposed to come back and feud with the Bellas, which never happened.
I know.
Like there's also a lot of other dream matches I can think of. You know, having Victoria come back or Jazz or somebody like that. I think that they're great women too, Molly Holly. But as far as like the 3 big matches I'd want, I'd say Trish, Alexa. You throw in Lita and Sasha because they're both, they can go out and have a great match. And then I'd say Nia and Beth Phoenix.
Now, my thing is for this, we're supposed to be building on the future and the evolution of women's wrestling. Now, I don't really want to do a whole bunch of old versus new. I mean, I think that's good every now and then in a couple matches, like we were saying with Alexa and Sasha. 2, I could see that being the max. But I wouldn't mind seeing some new girls go up against new girls. Like I would like to see some NXT call ups go up against some of these main roster chicks. I think that would be cool kind of cool to see. Have oh god, I think it'd be fucking awesome if we had Ronda versus
Baszler.
Whew. I mean, talk about a dream match right there.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, that's years down the road, but I mean, that would just be one of those matches that would just be really cool to see. Or even maybe like a former NXT champion versus current NXT, like Asuka versus Kairi Sane. I think that'd be a cool match.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Ember Moon versus one of the other NXT girls who's Bianca Belair. That'd be cool. Different stuff like that. Like I would like to see some
Sasha
influx.
versus Bianca Belair would be interesting.
I think that. Oh hell yeah, they're kind of although their personalities would kind of clash a little bit, and they're both more heel than face.
Well, Sasha is basically a fucking glorified baby face right now. So. Are you kidding me? Look what they've been doing with her and Bayley. You can't tell me she's not a fucking baby face right now.
Okay, what the company wants and what the fans think is completely different. And Sasha gets shit on a lot, so I would disagree that she's a baby face. But I think it'd be kind of cool to see Belair versus Bayley. 2 really athletic chicks go up against each other, and
yeah, there's a lot of matches you can do with that.
Heel face, stuff like that. I think it's cool stuff like that.
I'm surprised you haven't mentioned your girl Nikki Cross yet in the match.
Look, I love Nikki, but without sanity, she needs to be in a faction. The character needs to be in a faction. Nikki Cross could maybe get another character and be fine. But Nikki Cross, the way she is right now, she needs to be in a faction.
And I guess that kind of leads into Koopa Girl's last question. Finally, who from the Mae Young Classic and WWE's main roster women would you want to see fight each other?
I mean, I love Mia Yim. I would love to see her go up against, some of these top women. I really like her a lot. I don't know much about the Mae Young Classic this year. I just haven't watched. Honestly, I haven't watched it.
Tony Storm is pretty good.
I do like Tony Storm. I'm not a huge fan of the whole stupid mini top hat bullshit, but I'm not. That's stupid for me to get mad about. So
I'm gonna say somebody that was on the Mae Young Classic last year, and I think she's got hella potential as far as women's wrestling is on the indie circuit, and that's Tessa Blanchard. I think I think Tessa Blanchard should have been in this.
Tessa versus Charlotte. Oh my god!
You got awesome. Tully Blanchard's daughter against Ric Flair's daughter. Like how fucking better can you get than that?
Out there and fucking they could sit there and scream at each other about the Four Horsemen, and fucking Charlotte and Tessa could fight. Oh my god, I would die.
Yeah, she's not in it this year. She was in it last year, lost in the first round. But to me, like Tessa, she's got so much potential. I think. Coming up, she's going to be a star. She's only like 22 or 23 years old. I think she's got a bright future. She's holding the Impact Women's title right now. So
and this is so not what we're talking about, but Robbie Brookside's daughter is absolutely gorgeous. I haven't watched a match, but I saw something of her the other day, and I went, "Oh my god, she is a goddess."
So yeah, I guess I would say Charlotte and Tessa Blanchard would be another great match, and you could have Tully and Rick kind of go at it. I think it would be great. Oh, I would love that.
That would talk about bringing old school and new school together in a good way.
The Four Horsemen,
really good way. Because if you think about it, that's going to get old people or people that used to watch wrestling. Because let's face it, most people that used to watch wrestling don't watch it anymore. And that would get people to go, oh shit, Ric Flair and Tully Blanchard's daughter are going to have a match, and Ric Flair and Tully Blanchard are going to be there? All right, I might have to flip that one on.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Kyle, I'm surprised you haven't said your girl Tainora Conti yet with her, whatever it is background she has, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whatever the hell it is.
She's a legit badass, but again, she can't talk, and she can't really...
Well, I mean, to be fair, they're not really letting them cut promos on the Mae Young Classic. Like, it's not like they're really doing a lot of character development.
Which I was more talking about Conti when she was in it, and when she has been on NXT recently.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, she's really gorgeous, and I think she's a legit. She could probably kick 90% of anybody's ass, but I just don't know if wrestling wise, I don't know how I feel about her yet. But again, like I said, I haven't watched much of the Mae Young Classic or any at all, really. So I really can't sit here and talk about it.
Last set of tweets comes from Michael Chow, co-host of the Lowdown show, the NXT show that is also running on Wednesday nights. So shout-outs to Michael Chow at Michael Chow TV, a fellow No Holds Barred co-host. He says, since there's been not much build for WWE Evolution, I guess it's kind of everybody's asking the same types of questions. Which dream matches would you book for main matches on the pay-per-view, but using the formula former women talent versus current talent? Maybe Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. So I guess we kind of already went over that.
AJ Lee will never be back in the company. I'm sorry. I don't think that'll ever happen.
Unless Punk comes back. I don't know.
And Punk's never coming back either. Just dream on, guys. If we're talking about former versus current, yeah, like I said, Sasha versus Lita would be probably top of my list. I wouldn't even mind to see like another feud of Beth Phoenix and Natty again. Kind of the friends turning on each other again. I mean, it's rinse and repeat, but it's stuff that hasn't been done in a while that it's not so repeated.
I want to see Santina versus James Ellsworth.
Who?
Santino dressed up as a girl for the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal, and he was Santina, and he won the thing. I'm sorry.
People wonder why I fucking hate Santino Marella.
And Michael Chow's last tweet is, rumor has it Saudi Arabia wants to pay the WWE $20 million to have The Rock be at next year's event to be WWE champion. Thoughts? And who would you like to see Dwayne face at the event for the title? I'd pick either The Rock versus Samoa Joe or cringe The Rock versus Roman.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the hard. I just don't see it happening. I really don't.
They'd have to get out of so many storylines.
If it is, there is nobody nobody on the current roster that I really want to see The Rock do anything with. Honestly. I can't think of one person that I would be like, yeah, that would be cool.
We already saw Cena. We already got that.
And I don't want to see that again.
No, well, we're going to get Rock Roman, because Roman has to be endorsed by as many of the top legends as possible in order to try to get him over.
But he's already done that, and he got booed for that too. Whatever. I don't. Honestly, I really don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. And if it does, it's just going to be Rock coming out and cutting promos. I don't think he'll have matches. I really don't. Now, maybe once, a couple more years down the road, when the acting career starts to slow down, maybe. But that man has like one of the busiest schedules in the history of Hollywood. So I mean, like, I really just don't see how he's gonna fit going to Saudi Arabia and going to fucking all these other places to do useless horse shit.
No, yeah, Michael Chow said The Rock vs. Cena, last time ever. Why not? Since they're giving us
man, you know what? Honestly, if Cena was close to retiring and The Rock came back from Hollywood, different story. I'd be like, hey, maybe.
I want Hollywood Rock, man. Hollywood Rock would... So I know you haven't got to that yet.
I think the only way that he can come... No, I mean, I know. Obviously, I know about it. But I mean, like, honestly, if he's going to come back, he needs to come back as Hollywood Rock, because that's literally what he is.
Trey brought up a good point. Rock and KO could jaw. That would be entertaining. But...
Right.
Do you think KO is believable?
What would that end up doing? It really
KO would get buried. That's what it is. It was a burial of Kevin Owens.
Yeah, and so we're gonna put over The Rock, who won't come back, and instead of the guy who really should be a top guy. I don't know.
Rock versus AJ. I don't know how that would work.
I mean, I could see Hollywood Rock going up against AJ. Honestly, man, if we really want to make sense of it, Hollywood Rock versus Reigns would make sense.
Or Rock versus Joe. I think they could have a good feud.
I just think, I think if Rock comes back, he's got to be a heel.
He'll still get cheered like a babyface. Even when he was heel, he still got cheered.
People would really fucking cheer Rock right now.
Yeah.
He is popular.
Rock put over KO. KO beat Cena, and on day one, then he just needs to be pushed better.
Sorry.
Trey just posted. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that I just think it's so damn funny how hypocritical fans can be. They sit there and talk shit about it, and then they're like, "Oh God, no! Bring The Rock back for useless bullshit.
Bring Batista back. He's apparently."
Fuck Batista. He fucking sucked then. He sucks now.
All right, last question's from Tiff. She goes, so what do you think is going to be the big turn at Super Showdown, if there even is one? And I guess we'll lead that into our quick Super Showdown thoughts. I don't even think there's going to be
I don't think much is going to happen in this one.
I think if anything happens, it's going to be a crown jewel or one of these other stupid events. I don't think... Super Showdown, I don't really see anything of importance happening on this show, to be real.
Honestly, you remember, was it the first Saudi Arabia show that they did where, like, literally no belts changed hands and nothing happened?
The only belts that changed hands were because the tag team titles were vacant.
The tag team titles were vacant, right. I think we're going to get a pretty rinse and repeat of that, and that's what's going to happen here. I don't think that they're going to... I mean, but then again... They're building these storylines for this shit now, so who knows? They didn't really build any storylines for the first Saudi Arabia show, and they kind of did do it as a glorified live event. But, I mean, to me, this feels like a glorified live event, but maybe WWE, the way they're booking it, maybe they feel like they're going to actually do something with it. So who knows? Honestly, I really don't know. I still personally believe, though, that it's going to be a pretty boring spectacle.
I mean, we kind of said that earlier. You said it would be interesting if Dolph turned, but I just don't see what the point. I don't know.
I don't think it'd be interesting. I'm just saying that's what they kind of hinted at. I don't think it'd be fucking good at all, but because it doesn't make any sense.
The whole faction itself doesn't make sense. Both of them.
And then essentially, I guess if everybody turned on Braun, okay, and then we're starting to go get somewhere maybe, but. If they're not going to, full-blown monster heel Braun, that would make no sense. Just absolutely zero.
So, oh, what the fuck was that? Oh, it was like some advertisement on this the match card I'm looking up, and scared the shit out of me. Anyways, so thank you for all your questions. Thank you, Tiff, for that one, and thank you to everybody else who tweeted in this week. We appreciate it. So I'm gonna quickly go over the Super Showdown card, and you're gonna give me a quick answer on who's gonna win the match, and then that's gonna be it, because I don't really want to talk about this shitty glorified house show. Yeah. But we might as well give our 2 cents on it, and that's all you're gonna get is 2 cents worth of it. So, Cedric Alexander versus Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight title.
No clue, because I haven't watched anything about it.
I'm going to say Cedric retains, although people have been saying that Buddy Murphy's been doing some great work on 205 Live.
I was going to say, man, I saw Buddy Murphy live in a dark match. Or actually, no, it was on 205 Live when they did this after Smackdown in Nashville. He's impressive as fuck. But I don't know enough about their feud to know what's going on, so I can't help you there.
I'm going to say Cedric just for the fact that I think he's going to hold on to the title. I don't know if they're going to give Buddy Murphy the title. I'm not sure even though he's been doing great work, but like I said, I can't really comment on it because I haven't been watching
Australia,
a lot.
Though?
Buddy Murphy, I believe he is.
Oh, dude. Okay, Buddy Murphy's winning the title then. Never mind.
Again, I wish I could give you a better... I just haven't watched 205 Live lately to give you a better answer about that match.
Right.
Asuka and Naomi versus the Iconics.
In a plane crash into the fucking... No, Iconics, I guess.
So I'm going with Asuka and Naomi just for the fact that I don't really care about this match, and I see it just being a quick...
Literally no
filler, garbage women's tag match as usual.
They're basically putting that in there because the 2 girls are from Australia.
They're going to get a huge pop, and they're probably going to make fun of the crowd afterwards, and they'll get booed, and then Asuka and Naomi are going to win. Because WWE loves burying people in their home, hometowns and home countries. The New Day versus The Bar for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships.
New Day.
I'm going to pick New Day, and I hope to God there is not another pancake demonstration. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, because if there is, I ain't watching it.
Next, we got the rematch, Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. There's no stipulation as of now for this match.
Well, isn't this one for the WWE Championship?
Oh, yeah, sorry, no, it is the number 1 contender match for the WWE title. That's right. I remember them announcing that.
Okay, so I'm gonna have things for mine. If Joe wins the match against AJ, or vice versa, whatever. Basically, whoever the heel wins out of that, if Joe wins that one, Ryan's winning that match. If AJ wins it, Miz is winning that.
Yeah, I think it depends on the Styles Joe match for sure. But I think whoever wins that match, it'll give us a better idea of who's going to win the WWE title.
Or
match
who's going to win the title. Yeah.
I mean, all signs are pointing to
way,
the Miz getting another win over Bryan.
And the way that they've had Miz kind of beat him all the time, it almost makes me think that Bryan's going to get this one. But
I don't think this
is the important one.
Yeah, but then again,
I don't think it's over by a long shot. But
I see Miz going on to win the title and Bryan winning the title from him at some point. I think that's the way it's gonna go.
I could see that.
I'm picking Miz, and I guess you're picking both with other contingencies.
Yeah.
Next, John Cena and Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens and Elias. Are we so excited for the return of John Cena? Fuck, I can't wait.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Elias and KO with Lashley turning on Cena.
You mean John Cena, a.k.a. JBL? Because he basically looks like JBL right now with that haircut.
Yeah, he does with that hair. Yeah, woo.
I think KO and Elias could get
super rip one.
I think they could get a dirty win over Cena and Lashley, but just knowing WWE, they'll probably give Cena and Lashley the win on this one.
Yeah, going off track record,
there.
Yeah,
Smash
exactly.
putting you to sleep.
Next, will too.
We got Becky Lynch versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title.
Becky.
Yeah, I'm going with Becky too. I don't know if this is going to be like Charlotte's breaking point where like she starts doing heel tendencies, but I kind of see like Charlotte reaching a breaking point
I bet you $20 that Becky DQs herself to keep the title in this match.
Yeah. I think Becky's winning for sure. I agree. And some sort of cheap way again, because I think they're gonna have a match at Super Show or at Evolution.
Evolution.
Yeah. So I think that this is just gonna be one of those matches that just continues the feud. Next, oh my god, and we got the Riot Squad. This might be a little bit more interesting now with the shit that's happened the last couple weeks. But we got the Riot Squad versus Ronda and the Bella Twins.
I wonder if Liv will be cleared by then.
And I wonder if Ruby's gonna no-sell her shit again.
I hope so. I don't know. Honestly, if I was WWE, I would fucking X that fucking whole thing. Oh, sorry. 2 of them are hurt.
I'm interested to see if Liv and Nikki and Brie get in the ring at the same time. If something's gonna go down.
Oh, nothing will happen with Liv because she's all happy and lovey and is all over Twitter saying, "Oh, it happens. It's part of our job," and she didn't mean to do it.
Seems like Ruby's more pissed than she is about it.
Yeah, Ruby's fucking like, "Bitch, all you had to do was count properly."
And obviously it's probably going to be Ronda and the Bellas getting the win here. I mean,
yeah, honestly, Ronda's not losing unless it's by DQ or
unless it'd be interesting to have the Bellas turn on Ronda, because them together just makes no sense to begin with. Because Ronda is the opposite of what the Bellas.
But then what? So what, are you gonna have the fucking Bellas versus Ronda and Natty?
Yeah, I know it's wishful thinking, but I just think they booked it completely wrong from the beginning.
Oh, I think this whole thing sucks. I think bringing the Bellas back sucked. I think this whole thing having Ron. Why does Ron again? It's like fucking Braun. Why does Ronda need help?
Kyle says he's not going to watch Super Showdown. Well, I mean, I can't argue.
I mean, he doesn't watch main roster current stuff anyway, so I wouldn't expect him to.
Next, we got AJ versus Joe for the title. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna say that Styles retains, and it's gonna continue on to Survivor Series.
I really don't know about this one because I really thought last time Joe was gonna win. Man, after that last finish too, this one's just such a toss-up for me.
Well, Joe's your boy, Styles is my boy. It's basically a popularity contest at this point. Especially for this one. It's going to be a glorified house show, so I just think this is, like I said with the Becky and Charlotte match, I think this is just going to be another layer added to the feud, and it's going to continue on after this, whether it be at Crown Jewel or Survivor Series. But obviously they're going to continue with this feud. It's too hot not to. And then we'll get into The Shield versus Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre. Sorry, I had to play the awkward cricket sound for that because I just...
Oh, sorry.
No, it was just... I don't care about this fucking match at all.
I don't know.
The Shield, Strowman, Ziggler, and McIntyre are getting force-fed to the big dog. That's all I'm going to say about it, because that's all that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're not wrong. I really don't know. I'm going to go with the Shield, but I really don't know.
I mean, you got to go with the Shield. I mean, what?
I mean, if you don't, it'd be kind of stupid, I guess.
Roman gets everything. People have to realize that. Roman,
not everything. Brock's getting something.
Oh yeah, well he's getting a title rematch because definitely want to see that again.
Fucking title shot.
A crown jewel.
Beat the shit out of 2 people.
Now that would be interesting. Does Brock appear at this event and maybe cost the Shield the match?
No.
Or he comes in and just beats the fuck out of Braun and Roman.
I don't think Brock will be there because fucking Brock's going to want a lot of money, and I don't think Australia's got as much money as Saudi Arabia does, so I don't think Brock... And I'm sorry, if you like Brock, that's fine. I like Brock too, but he doesn't like wrestling. He doesn't love wrestling, guys. He is there for the fucking paycheck and for the amount of... He goes, I can make like $2 million this year working like 20 times.
It's all about the money.
Yeah,
And the last match, we got Taker versus Triple H with Kane in Taker's corner and Shawn Michaels in Triple H's corner.
Give me Taker.
I'm gonna take. It's gotta be Kane in the Taker because Kane.
I was gonna say, wait, what?
Because Kane hasn't missed a step, so he's gonna be the one to help put
not.
Taker over. You know, he's 50
Has
years
Kane
old.
ever missed a step? Ever? Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, I mean he's only 50 years old. I mean he hasn't lost a step.
I don't give a shit how
for
old
sure.
he is. It's still fucking demon. He's a demon. Age means nothing.
He's not in shape anymore compared to what he used to be. That's for damn sure.
Brother, why are you trying to put logic in an illogical situation?
And we got bald HBK. And again, this is another match where I think that it's not going to be over with. Taker's probably going to win. Or they could go the road of HBK helping Triple H get a cheap win. It's going to lead to a tag match, a crown jewel. But again, we're getting Shawn and Kane in some sort of match with this thing leading forward.
Yeah, honestly, this match will probably end in a no contest or something. Because I bet all of them get in the ring, start beating the fucking shit out of each other. Taker and Kane give last rides or whatever to
everybody just gets laid out at the same time.
Hold on. To the two baldies, they got to give the last rides to those two bald guys. It's. I think that this match is going to end up being no contest, and it'll just kind of end up being a nothing.
You think this is the main event?
No. What do you think's the main event? Come on, Shield.
I think this is going to be the main event, man. I don't know.
Okay. How about this? They will either be one of the two. Each of these matches, it'll either be middle of the show or end of the show or main event. Those two matches. One of them will be in the middle. One of them will be in the main event. I will put money on it. Because here's my thing. If it was me, I would fucking put the Shield match first, get that shit out of the way with, and then be like, all right, guys, you want to see Taker? Oh, you got to watch. You got to stay through the rest of this garbage.
You got to stay through the rest of this shitty card.
But I don't know. I mean, granted, I think you're probably right that they will end up being the main event, but I think it'll end up
because it's been the main focus of the whole show.
Vince, last second, he'll change his fucking mind, and it'll be the main event, or Shield versus fucking 80 people in the main event. You never know.
But to me, like the whole focal point of this pay-per-view has been this Undertaker Triple H match.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing, and I think the way that they're building it probably will be. Yeah.
This last lifetime crap. But either way,
I don't know why they're calling it the last fight or match ever. They should be calling it the last ride, man. What are we doing here?
The last ride, the old school. But for anybody that cares, it's airing at 5 a.m. Eastern on Saturday, 4 a.m. Central, 2 a.m. Pacific. For any of you out there who would like to get up that early or stay up that late to watch this show live.
If you talk any amount of shit about modern wrestling and you get up at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. to watch pay-per-view, you have no right to bitch.
It might put me to sleep if I'm still up by then.
I mean, if I'm still awake at 5 a.m., yeah, I bet it will put me. That's probably better than golf would be.
Hey, okay, let's not get into I love golf.
Watching golf.
I love watching golf. I can watch golf all day long.
You're lame and boring, so that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense, right? But yeah, so that is Super Showdown, the great live event, glorified live event pay-per-view that we're going to get on Saturday. Sorry we're not more enthused about it, but, I mean, do you blame us?
I don't think a lot of people are very enthused about it, man. I don't think we need to apologize for it.
So, I hope you guys enjoy Super Showdown if you can. Hopefully it doesn't ruin your weekend. And happy Canadian Thanksgiving to all my fellow Canadians out there. I know it's Columbus Day on Monday for you Americans, but it is Canadian Thanksgiving.
I don't respect Columbus, so I don't follow that that bullshit.
But yeah, so for you Americans, you can enjoy our Canadian Thanksgiving this Sunday, and maybe with Super Showdown.
Before we end up here, so for Canadian Thanksgiving, I mean, do you guys have turkey and stuffing and all that different shit?
Yes.
So you don't celebrate normal Thanksgiving like normal people?
I mean, I guess not.
Or do you have two Thanksgivings?
No, we don't have the one in November that you do.
Oh, okay.
Ours is this week. It's in October.
Well, I'm going to let you know. You know why the one in November is better?
Black Friday? I don't know.
No,
Football?
because every 4 years it falls on my birthday.
Oh,
So,
that's another fun wrestling history fact there for you?
Yeah, there you go. Put that in your notes there, Gremlins.
And yes, we don't have three football games. We might have some CFL games, but that's about it.
Oh, do you guys? Okay. That was my second question. Do they rip off the NFL tradition of football at Thanksgiving with the CFL football at Canadian Thanksgiving?
I think we might have a game or two. I'm not sure.
Oh my God, yes.
But either way, we sit around and cook up some beaver and watch Letterkenny on Canadian Thanksgiving.
Some beaver. Isn't that shit illegal?
We don't cook beaver, okay? It's a joke.
I was gonna say, now wait a minute. And the people in the South down here, we might actually cook some beaver. I really don't know.
We celebrate Kevin Owens Day on Thanksgiving. How about that? The face of America.
Oh God.
So, anyways, that being said, that is gonna
this show. Good Lord.
That is gonna wrap up this long episode. Thank you for tuning in to the Lowdown Show right here on the new No Holds Barred Network, your source for all WWE, NXT, and UK wrestling coverage. You can listen to us live every Thursday night on Saluku and download the free app on all Apple and Android devices. We're also available to listen to on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud. And for all network updates, please go follow at NHB Network on Twitter. As well, you can go follow our show itself at The Lowdown Show on Twitter. All the links will be in the description below on the YouTube version of this podcast. And lastly, I am your host, the self-proclaimed... No, I'm not going to go that far. I won't rip off somebody else of their gimmick. But I am I am very blissed off tonight for hockey reasons. Mr. Corporate himself, at Captain Flex Corporate Cappy. And I'm always joined by my one co-host, at least, at Tyler Jones 22. And this week we're not joined by Bryan at Heel Turn 21.
And in the words of Cappy's hero, Michael K. See ya!
And until next time, I am Corporate Cappy, and I guess Ty already gave you his sound off for the... He ruined my outro. But anyways, that is Tyler
everything
Jones.
Else.
And we are not joined by the main wrestler, Maharaja, Bryan.
Thank God!
He will return next week for Tyler to enjoy and to rib on. And until next time, we're always here reminding you to keep it on the way.
Good night, Gremlins.